The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioner, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. I had always thought our bedroom was a sanctuary, a place where trust and passion met, where secrets were safe and emotions were shared. But tonight, I had crossed a line I could never take back. It started innocently enough, a playful tease, a small flirtation that seemed harmless in the moment. But as the minutes passed, it escalated. Subtle touches, whispered words, and glances that betrayed boundaries we had carefully set. I didn't see it at first, the way his jaw tightened, the way his eyes, though calm, flickered with something I couldn't read. And then it hit me. I had gone too far. I expected an immediate reaction. Anger, a raised voice, maybe even a sharp rebuke. But there was none. Just silence. His stillness was heavier than any confrontation. It pressed down on me, a tangible weight that made my chest tighten and my stomach churn. "Mark," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Are you upset?" He didn't answer. Not a word. His eyes, fixed on some invisible point beyond me, betrayed nothing, and yet they screamed disappointment. Every second of silence was a hammer striking me repeatedly, reminding me of my mistake. Panic rose inside me. I stepped closer, reaching for him, desperate for some sign, any sign, that he was still there, that he still cared. I didn't mean to. Still nothing. The quiet was crushing, more devastating than any argument could have been. I realized then that silence can be louder than words, that absence of reaction can cut deeper than the sharpest accusation. Each second stretched into an eternity, and I could feel the weight of regret growing heavier with every passing heartbeat. I sank onto the edge of the bed, my hands shaking. "Please," I whispered, voice breaking. "Say something. Tell me it's not too late." Finally, after what felt like hours, he shifted, just slightly, enough for me to see the tension in his shoulders, the barely perceptible tightening of his fists. His voice, when it came, was low, calm, and cutting in a way I hadn't anticipated. "You crossed a line," he said softly. "And you knew it." The words weren't shouted, but they hit harder than any scream could. I closed my eyes, tears spilling down my cheeks, overwhelmed by the enormity of my actions and the realization that trust, once strained, is fragile beyond measure. I lost control," I admitted, my voice barely audible. "I didn't think. I didn't." "You did think," he interrupted, his tone steady. "You knew exactly what you were doing. And now, I need time. I need space. Your silence was never the problem. Mine is. My silence is how I process betrayal, how I protect what's left of my heart." The crushing weight of his quietness pressed down on me, suffocating, relentless. I had expected anger, confrontation, even forgiveness in the heat of emotion. Instead, I got the cold, deliberate calm of someone who had been hurt and was choosing his own terms of response. I understood, painfully, that silence is more than absence of words. It's a statement, a boundary, a shield. And in that moment, I felt the full force of my mistake. I spent hours there, beside him, speaking softly, apologizing, trying to rebuild what I had broken. He listened, barely reacting, his stillness a constant reminder of the damage inflicted. Every attempt at explanation, every plea for forgiveness, was met with measured quiet, forcing me to confront the reality of my actions in a way that screaming or confrontation never could. By the end of the night, I had learned something vital. Crossing a line is not just about the act itself, but the trust you shatter, the emotional equilibrium you disrupt, and the patience required to rebuild what was broken. His silence was a mirror, reflecting the gravity of my mistake back at me, relentless and unyielding. I stayed by his side, finally understanding that healing doesn't come from words alone, but from respect, time, and acknowledgement of the pain caused. His silence, crushing as it was, became the teacher I never expected, forcing me to see the depth of my actions, the consequences I had wrought, and the fragile thread of trust that still connected us. And in that quiet, heavy, suffocating room, I vowed never to cross that line again, never to take for granted the love and patience of someone who chose silence over anger, and reflection over reaction.